Welcome. This is From Beyond The Paign, an Illinois basketball podcast. I'm Cody. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody_CHGO and on TikTok and even on Instagram. Make your choice. All three I would appreciate it. I don't post a lot of Illini, or I haven't posted a lot of Illini content on Instagram lately, but I appreciate those. Anyway, X, TikTok, those are fair. All right. So Illinois wins 87-75 against Ohio State at Ohio State tonight. Huge win in the grand scheme, a huge win for Illinois. A road win, an important road win. Honestly, I don't care how bad Ohio State is. You just lost at Northwestern last week. You played an ugly game against Indiana on Saturday. This like the thumbnail of this edition on YouTube says get right game, because that's what this was. This was undoubtedly a get right game for Illinois. Terrence Shannon Jr.'s best game of the season. Well, not the season, but best game since coming back from his suspension. I feel like everyone got involved for Illinois. If you look at the box score, everyone, I believe, scored except for DGL. Yes, that's actually true. Ohio State, they hung around early. They were able to do whatever they wanted offensively. It was annoying. They were shooting 48% at halftime. And then in the second half, Illinois locked down defensively, and Ohio State just could not stop them. They could not stop them, the Illinois offense at least. And Illinois just kind of did whatever they wanted. Marcus Damask, another efficient game tonight, probably his most efficient game in a while. As far as, field goal percentage, 7 of 12 tonight. And like I said, Terrence Shannon, 7 of 17 tonight, 23 points. They both put up 23 points. They were great. The way Illinois played tonight, if they play like this, offensively at least, they can hang with any team in the country. I can say that loud and proud. If they play like they did tonight offensively, they can hang with anyone in the country. Defense still needs some work, and we can talk about that a little bit. I'd love to know your thoughts on the defense. I did feel like they locked down a little bit in the second half, though. But that said, Ohio State still shot 50% for the game. So it's a bit annoying considering Ohio State's just not good. I know earlier in the year I kind of bought into them. I thought they're going to have a bounce-back season after how bad they were last year, and it just doesn't seem like that's the case. They played terrible in Big Ten play. And that continued again tonight. Now multiple double-digit losses at home for Ohio State here in the month of January. You guys want to feel good about Illinois? Just think about where Ohio State and Michigan are in terms of the basketball programs right now. They're elite football programs, but man, their basketball program is, both of them are in shambles right now. Is what it is. Again, not getting too high. And I don't really have a lot of negative to say about this game, because it was a good get right game. So I'm happy that I didn't have to sweat it out. The first half, I was a little annoyed with the defense, but I was happy to see that the offense was so much more efficient tonight. I mean, it was so much more aesthetically pleasing to watch, even, right? So let me know your thoughts. Like I said, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching from my Facebook page, come to the YouTube chat, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, please. We're at 337 subscribers, trying to get to 500 before the college basketball season is over. All right. That's my goal. All right. 337, trying to get to 500 before the college basketball season is over. All right. So I appreciate that. And again, hit that like button. It helps other Illini fans find the podcast, whether it's on YouTube or mostly on YouTube, right? So, overall, my overall thoughts on this game was just it feels good to not have to stress. It just feels good not to stress. It was during the preview show last night with Sonny from Illini Cast, which, by the way, even though it was a preview show, we did talk about a lot of different things. You should go check it out. We talked a lot about, Illinois' defense. We talked about the offense and its struggles, not taking threes when you're wide open, a whole sorts of things. And I feel like some of those questions were answered tonight. All right. So let's go through them a little bit. And while I do that, again, let me know in the chat how you're feeling about this game. I see my guy LFG in the chat says no EJ, no EJ Liddell, no problem. I agree. EJ Liddell didn't show up in Columbus tonight. No problem. He was such a good player for Ohio State. I know Illinois tried to recruit him. He's like an in-state kid, and he chose Ohio State instead. But he's a really good player. But just glad that he wasn't there for Ohio State tonight, right? He also said Ty Rodgers is turning into a damn good 4. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ty Rodgers. I have my episodes where I go in on him or I celebrate him. And at the end of the day, Ty Rodgers is a really good basketball player for a guy who doesn't really shoot. He is such an effective and good basketball player. He does so many good things that you don't even realize. And next thing you know, you're looking at the box score like I was late in the second half, and it's like, oh, he fucked around and got a double-double tonight. Didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize it, man. So I posted a video on my TikTok today, me and Sonny kind of talking about how Illinois, they had a lot of wide open threes against Indiana, and they just didn't shoot them. All right. That was from yesterday's podcast. And tonight, Illinois shot 17 threes, which they were getting to the basket at will, right? They scored 44 points in the paint. So did Ohio State. That, again, defense needs some work, right? But you shot 51% from the field. You shot 7 of 17 from 3, shooting, which is 41% if you don't know math. I don't know math. I'm just reading the ESPN box score. And you score 44 points in the paint. They didn't need to take a lot of threes tonight because they were getting into the paint at will whenever they wanted, right? So it was never about how I wanted them to shoot 30, 40 threes. It was just more about when you're open, just shoot them. Just shoot them. And I felt like they did that tonight. And you saw it early, Terrence Shannon Jr. hitting that 3 that kind of opened the floodgates. Well, not necessarily open the floodgates, but like kind of just, it got him going. It definitely helped get him going. And I felt like as soon as he hit that 3, I think he had a driving layup. I tweeted about it and I already forgot what I said. I'm going to look it up because it's going to bother me if I don't look it up. It's like one of my first tweets from the night related to this game. Again, this is great audio. Okay, yeah, I tweeted this after the first timeout. TSJ active early, hits a 3, records a block in transition, which that was an impressive block. It was like LeBron against the Warriors in 2016 in the NBA Finals-esque. He assists to Rodgers, which was on a pick and roll. I remember that. And then I also said 2 tough drives that resulted in misses, and then he missed one that was down the post. Either way, I like the aggressiveness. And that was the thing about Terrence Shannon that I loved tonight, was the fact that he was aggressive early, and Brad Underwood ran some offensive sets for him to help get him going. I felt like in those 3 games against Northwestern, in Indiana, and even Rutgers, I felt like he was doing things in transition, and that was really about it. They didn't run a lot of offensive sets to him. It was like every time they run down in a half court, he's running to the corner and just, get the ball, dribble, pass. Like nothing for him, right? So tonight it looked different. It looked like they ran a few offensive sets for him, and it helped him get going. And then in the second half, he had a huge second half, right? I don't know how many points total he had in the second half, but again, 23 points, 7 of 17 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He just got super aggressive. He got super aggressive in the second half, especially in transition, going downhill, like a lot of the stuff that we saw before the suspension, because there was a handful of times where Ohio State missed. He gets the ball at half court, and next thing you know, in a matter of 2 to 3 seconds, this guy is going to the rim with 2 or 3 guys there, and he's getting a foul call, or he's getting an and one, He's making the basket and one. Like, he looked like the Terrence Shannon before the suspension. That Terrence Shannon tonight. I think it's really encouraging. I don't care that it's Ohio State and that they're not that good. This, for his confidence, for my anxiety, but mainly his confidence, he has to feel really good about himself tonight. So I think this is a good stepping stone moving forward for Illinois. Again, they still have some work to do, man. The defense was not good tonight, but the offense was really good. And you love to see it coming off that game against Indiana. And that's probably my biggest takeaway from this game. Caitlin, she asked, what did Hawkins do to foul out? I couldn't watch. Okay. This is probably the most annoying thing from the game tonight. All right. And as you people know, I am a Coleman Hawkins guy. All right. I've criticized him at the beginning of the year because I felt like he wasn't playing well. I know that he had that injury, blah, blah, blah. But I criticized because I was like, dude, you're supposed to be the guy. All right. You're supposed to be one of the leaders. You're supposed to help this team do something. Right. He comes back, that road game against Rutgers. Second half, I thought that's when he started getting into the groove that Illinois needed him to be. And he's been doing it ever since. Tonight, honestly, if there's a guy to complain about, it is Coleman Hawkins, because he had one of the dumbest technical fouls that just makes me want to pull my hair out. Because if he does that in a game where it's close, or, in March in an NCAA tournament game, and it costs Illinois because he has to go to the bench because Brad Underwood has to put him on the bench with 4 fouls with 13 minutes to go in the second half, it could cost them. And when he got that technical foul because of complaining to the ref with 13 minutes to go in the second half, and considering everything that happened the last handful of games, I got a little nervous, even though they had a double-digit lead. I really did. Because they're on the road. And that's another thing, is they were on the road and that happened, right? So it didn't end up hurting them, but I'm telling you, he better learn from this game, man. He's a senior or whatever, but he's got to know that he as much as you want to get pissed at the refs or whatever, quote unquote, show them up, like Bardo was saying on the broadcast. You can't take a technical foul. You can't get a technical foul because you're complaining to the refs. So to answer your question, Caitlin, he had 2 fouls at the 13-minute mark. He got called for a foul, and then he didn't like that he got called for a foul, so he got a technical foul. So then he was on the bench for God knows how long. I don't remember what time he came back in. And he didn't actually foul out. He had 4 fouls, but he didn't play well. So it is what it is. And when I say he didn't play well, it's just the fact that he only had 5 points, and everyone else got involved, and that's great. If it continues, great. They're going to need it, I think. I believe that there is more depth on this team than just the 7 deep, right? But I just felt like him making that boneheaded play to get that technical foul and put himself in foul trouble when he wasn't in foul trouble before that technical foul was called, it's something that could hurt you down the line. So moral of the story, I hope he learns from it. All right. I hope he learns from it. Anyway, he finished with 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 of 3. He did hit a 3-pointer. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. All I know is that when you get a technical foul, when you had 2 fouls and you get called for a foul that leads to a technical, you have 4 fouls with 13 minutes to go in the second half. I can't defend it, man. It's just a boneheaded play. It's something that honestly a senior shouldn't be doing. All right. And again, I've been someone who has defended Coleman Hawkins in his actions and how he complains to the refs a lot and all these things. I've compared him to being the guy that everyone in the Big Ten hates, and he's our guy, and I'm going to go to war for him. I want to go to war for this guy because he does so many things for Illinois defensively, and he is a very versatile player offensively, right? So it's just one game. Hope he learns from it. But he wasn't a big part of why they won tonight. What other comments we got here? Adam McHugh, welcome. There will be a lot of talk, and rightfully so, about Shannon and Rodgers, but Damask is just so steadily good in delivering key buckets. One of the best transfers in all of college hoops. I agree, Adam. No, Damask was as efficient as I've seen him tonight, man. And on the last show, I talked about how, like, I'm so tired of watching him pump fake at the 3-point line. And I don't think I saw him do it once tonight. Maybe I missed it. But either way, like, he made some guys look bad on drives to the basket, doing pump fakes in the lane, stuff like that. He hit he had the mid-range going. He had it all going tonight, man. He is, I think Stephen Bardo might have said it on the broadcast himself. Like, I don't know if Brad Underwood expected anything like this from Marcus Damask with Illinois. And I know I didn't. And you're right, Adam. He has been as consistent as you can possibly get he's been as consistent as you can ask for, right? And yeah, I mean, he brings a lot of experience. He only had one turnover tonight. I've complained about his turnovers in recent games just because his usage has been so high. He's bringing the ball up the court. His one turnover was him driving to the basket, and there was, two guys right there, and he tried to pass it out to Harmon and didn't get it to him. That was the one bad play. But overall, he played almost if not a perfect game, it was close to it, right? 8 of 8 from the free throw line. He did hit a 3 tonight. His 3-point percentage has been down compared to his years at SIU this year. But yeah, no, he was all over the place offensively tonight, and yeah, we're very blessed to have him, right? Jeff in the chat. Danger comes in and does his part as he does with his limited minutes he is getting lately. Yes. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you for bringing up the danger zone, because Dane Danger, I wouldn't say it was the Dane Danger game, but man, this is what he can do. And let me bring it back. This is what he can do when given the time, right? And it's been hard to give him minutes because I know the defense is sus. He doesn't make free throws, but tonight he was great for Illinois, and he got extended play because of Coleman Hawkins's boneheaded play, getting that technical foul, right? 7 points, 5 rebounds. He even had a block, 3 fouls, whatever. But 3 of 5 from the field, like, I felt like the bench played really well tonight. They had 4 guys score off the bench. I thought Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn came in, and even though he didn't score, I thought he played some really good defense. There's a really good Twitter account called Hoops Informatics, I think is what it's called. And he tweeted out a video of DGL just playing defense. And I was like loving it, because I just liked seeing DGL on the court, because I think he can help this team win. I really do. All right. So as far as Danger, though, man, like, I don't know how many minutes he technically played, and I'm waiting for the ESPN app to like update this. I keep refreshing it, and it's not telling me how many minutes they all played. But in his extended minutes tonight, I thought he was really good. I also was happy to see Hansberry get into the game. I know he'd been hurt, and that's why he hadn't been playing. I'm happy to see him get in. Took a 3-pointer, didn't go in. He had an and one basket at the end of the first half. I thought Illinois played really well at the end of that first half, not only offensively but defensively, to get him to push that lead out to double digits, or close to double digits. They led 41-34 at halftime. But I felt like the bench played really well, especially with Shannon and Hawkins on the bench. And Hansberry, again, he shot it twice. His one basket was an and one that he didn't finish because he didn't make the free throw. But it was nice to see him get in the game and make an impact, right? So, yeah, the bench played well tonight. They gave you positive minutes. LFG says somewhere in Michigan, Carter Elliott was loving the danger zone. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we're about 20 minutes in. Again, let me know your thoughts on this game. Uh another thing that I really liked, Illinois 18 of 20 from the free throw line. They're terrible at the free throw line against Indiana. Happy to see them make some free throws tonight. Um, you know, they did all the things that they can control. And that's something that when they miss free throws and they turn the ball over, it makes me very angry. And tonight they didn't do it. They didn't miss free throws and they didn't turn the ball over. I think they only had 6 turnovers. Yeah, they had 6 turnovers for the game. Thought they were just really efficient offensively. They made their free throws. Again, 7 of 17 from 3, shooting 41% from 3 is solid. There's just not a lot to complain from this game except for the defense. And we could get into the defense now. Like, you want me to complain about anything related to Terrence Shannon? There were some moments in the first half where I just felt like he was just not into it defensively. And what's crazy is that Bruce Thornton didn't really do much in that first half. He finished with 7 points. He 3 of 11 shooting. He didn't have a good game. Jameson Battle, 21 points for them, and Gale Jr. had 20. If there's one thing from TSJ that I'm bothered by tonight is I just feel like he's a better defensive player than that. So I don't know. That's how I feel. Illinois' defense in the first half was laugh out loud funny. Like, it just wasn't existent. I mean, maybe I should give more credit to Ohio State for hitting some shots. They couldn't hit a 3. They shot 4-12 from 3, but Battle had 3 of the 4. But again, they shot 50% for the game, man. I did think the defense played a little bit better in the second half, especially early. Illinois got to double digits early in the second half, and I don't know if Ohio State might have got it down to 8 once or twice, but every time they kind of got it under 10, Illinois would respond. There was a moment, I believe, in the game where I think Illinois didn't score on like 3 straight possessions. It led to a 6-0 run from Ohio State. Brad Underwood calls a timeout. They come out of the timeout, and they run a play that gets the ball to Danger in the post, and he scores. And it's little things like that that make me excited, make me think, oh man, this team can really be something. And it's just something simple like that. Like, they came out and they responded to adversity in a way. I know they still had a decent lead or whatever, but on the road in the Big Ten, anything can happen. And I think we've seen that. We saw that at Northwestern last week, So I'm just happy that the game was never really in doubt. I think maybe in that first half, I think there was a point where Illinois was down 5 points, right? Like in that last 7-8 minutes. But once they got down those 5 points, they kind of flipped a switch and they kind of went on their own little run and was able to take the lead. And again, they led by 7 at halftime. But even though I say that I thought their defense was better in the second half, Ohio State still scored 41 points in the second half. I don't know, man. I don't know how to really read it, but I just know that the defense needs to be better. And I was a little surprised that I was a little surprised they didn't kind of go to that zone look that they kind of gave Indiana. I know that they Ohio State didn't necessarily shoot from the outside a ton, or at least make threes, but they're getting a lot of their baskets at the rim. I feel like at some point Illinois is going to have to start showing a double team down low in the post. And I know Brad Underwood isn't doing it because they don't want those 3-pointers to be open, but we're getting dominated by a post player like every game. Jameson Battle is, he's like their 4. He's like a 4 for them, so he can shoot from the outside. He's big enough to where he can go to the basket, whatever. But I just feel like every single game, there's a big guy just killing us down low, and we're not showing a double team. And I'm a little concerned about it, but if you let him get his and no one else is doing anything, I guess I can't complain. Because again, Bruce Thornton didn't have a good game tonight. 7 points, 3 of 11. So, LFG says, like when Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl, TSJ showed up at halftime and OSU showed up at halftime of OSU and the Illini go on to win the Natty. Don't let me talk myself into it, dude. Don't let me talk myself into it. Yeah. It's exciting stuff. Chi-Town Custom Cornhole. You guys, if you don't know who this guy is, you guys should check out his bag sets, or as he calls them, cornhole boards, or I guess people do. We're in the Midwest. I'm never gonna call it cornhole. Sorry, bro. ILL, he says. I, man. Thank you for hanging out. We got 20 people watching. If you're new, if you're in the YouTube chat, please hit the like button. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button as well. Tell your friends. If you're watching on Twitter, like my guy, Chi-Town Custom Cornhole Boards, come to YouTube, please. I appreciate y'all. All right. So, yeah, I guess before we get out of here, we can take a look around the Big Ten and look forward to what's coming up. I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna find out what Brad Underwood says in post game or whatever, and probably talk about in the preview show Saturday. But yeah. So IU bounced back tonight. They beat Iowa at home, which is hilarious. Iowa's so bad. I can't wait to play them, to be honest. And Michigan currently is beating Michigan State. If Michigan State loses at home to Michigan, it will be hilarious. But Illinois now 7-3 in the Big Ten. They are a half game ahead of Northwestern, and a game back of Purdue for that second spot, a game and a half back of Wisconsin. Listen, I was talking to a guy at my day job today. Who was it? I can't remember who it was. I don't know. Someone was telling me that, that they think Illinois doesn't really care about winning the Big Ten anymore with the 3 losses. And I'm telling you, if this offense is back now and Terrence Shannon is playing like this and you're going into February, I feel like the Big Ten is still alive. All right. Just a little bit. Because Wisconsin's been playing well. Remember like 5, 6 or 2-3 weeks ago, I said, Wisconsin's schedule is super easy in January, and it's been true. Like they haven't lost. They're 8-1. Purdue 8-2. Purdue almost lost to Rutgers on Sunday. Tough road game for them. They figured it out, right? Wisconsin almost lost to Minnesota on the road. Good teams figure it out, man. That's why, like, in some aspects, like the win that Illinois had over Indiana, even though it was at home, is like good teams just find a way to win. And then we can sit here and complain about the defense all we want tonight, but to get a road win in the Big Ten, I just think is something that just appreciate it. Just be happy about it, because it's not hard, or it's not easy, right? It's not easy to do, as we saw at Northwestern, even though there was a ton of Illini fans there. So, yeah. Now, yeah, so that's the standings. Illinois is in third place, a game and a half back of first. Now, as far as their schedule coming up, I believe they have Nebraska on Sunday. It's their first game in February. Yeah, they host Nebraska at home. Nebraska's been terrible on the road. They've just been awful on the road. So I expect Illinois to come out and play a good game against this. This is a scrappy team. I don't think it's going to be an easy win, because Nebraska can score some points. Tominaga is no joke, but I obviously do think that they are better than Nebraska. Thankfully they don't have to go to Nebraska this year, because the Nebraska is a great home team, but on the road they are not very good. So I feel like Illinois is going to keep this winning streak going on Sunday against Nebraska. They got Michigan. They go to Michigan State next week, and Michigan comes to Illinois the week after. So those are the next 3 games. They have this game against Nebraska on Sunday, and then they basically have a whole week off. They'll have a whole week basically to prepare for Michigan State. So hopefully they take advantage of that and they can sweep the season series with Michigan State in a week. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Illinois has 3, 6, 7, 10. They have 10 games left. They have 10 games left. They are 7-3 in the Big Ten. There's a lot to look forward to. There's obviously things they need to work on, things to get good, to get fixed. But I'm going to keep this in mind, all right? The best teams in March always peak in March. I'm not asking Illinois to peak in February, right? I want them to play well, and I want them to win the games that they're supposed to win. And hopefully, at the end of the year, those last 3 games of March, at Wisconsin, at home against Purdue, hopefully they're playing their best basketball by then, and they have a chance to win the Big Ten, right? So I'm asking them to continue to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. Their schedule in February, to be honest with you, it's nothing to sweat. Michigan State and Maryland, like they're going to have to go to Maryland on February 17th. That will be tough. I mean, they can't beat Maryland at home. So they're going to have to go on the road and face Maryland again. And Maryland's playing better basketball of late. So maybe that loss to Maryland isn't going to look like a bad loss by the end of the year. But that's probably the hardest game on the schedule as we sit here, right? For the month of February. So I just want them to continue to work on the things that they get right. It looks like they're on the right path offensively, and hopefully they take the confidence they built from this game back home to Champaign against Nebraska on Sunday. All right. So, hold up. I was about to finish, but then I remembered that I saw some tweets related to Terrence Shannon Jr.'s case tonight, or before the game. It was from Mitch Gilfian, who my friend Sonny told me about, who went on his podcast, Illini Cast. He's a lawyer in Peoria, and he's been tweeting a lot about the Terrence Shannon Jr. case, information, things for people to understand, I guess. And so he tweeted today that a subpoena was issued yesterday to a witness involved with the alleged victim, demanding, quote, all digital data combined in your phone. Subpoenaed information is significant. For example, text, social media data, emails, and any stored deleted info is all recovered. He tweeted after that, the subpoena was issued by Terrence Shannon Jr.'s attorneys. And then I think this is just his thoughts. He said, one can only imagine what the information will reveal, but to speculate that the information favors one side is premature. However, if different versions of the story have been communicated by those around the alleged victim, the case could fall like a house of cards. It is just how criminal matters unfold. People cannot help from sharing too much, especially in the age of social media. So that's just a little nugget that came out today. Again, he's Mitch Gilfian on Twitter. Again, he was on Sonny's podcast, Illini Cast, and he explains this case so well, especially for someone like me who doesn't understand the law or legal terms and stuff like that. He really helped me understand a lot more about this case. So it sounds like some information will come out related because of from the victim's cell phone. We'll see what we get from it. Could be telling, could heavily side Terrence Shannon, could perhaps not. I don't know. Okay. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's go. Steve, thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. He says, thanks, Cody. I appreciate your insight. I credit to you, man. Thanks for hanging out. What's up, Herb? Thank you for hitting the like button. I'm happy that you hit the like button. I'm glad that we're coworkers. LFG, Iowa men's basketball should let Caitlin Clark get some shots up. Dude, They should. Is there a way? Can we get her on Illinois too? I mean, let's just be real. She's like the best female player in college basketball. I'll take her. It pains me a little bit that she plays for Iowa though, considering how much I hate Iowa. Let's see. LFG also says, I think this is related to what I was saying about peaking early. Remember, it's all about a slow burn. Don't flame out early. Exactly. Just want to be playing your best ball going into March, man. That's all I want. So these next like 7 games, it's all about just getting through it, taking care of business, and then whenever it matters most, that's when you start playing your best ball, right? So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm hoping. That's what I hope happens. We got to manifest it. We all want a second weekend. We all want a second weekend. It's almost like I want a second weekend appearance more so than I want to go to the national championship, because it's like you got to get to the second weekend to even like consider the idea of going to, the national championship, the Final Four, like it's one step at a time. This team is good enough to go to a second weekend. I can't take another like collapse at the end of the year. All right. We'll see how it plays out. I look forward to it. This is my favorite time of year, especially with now football is basically over. We just have the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. After that, it's just like all college hoops. Spring training starts up in March. Baseball season, all that comes eventually. But from February, basically all of February and most of March is college hoops. It's my favorite time of the year, man. Favorite time of the year. So, all right. Again, if you're on YouTube, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate y'all. You all mean so much to me. And in the link in my description goes to the podcast on Spotify. So if you can't ever just watch on YouTube, you can listen to the audio version there. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody_CHGO and on TikTok and on Instagram. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'll be back Saturday for the preview show for Illinois, Nebraska. That will be on Sunday, I believe. I believe that is the schedule. Yes, on the 4th. So I will see y'all then. And as always, ILL.